Hello, and welcome to the Trophy Trust, a weekly podcast for PlayStation trophy hunters. I'm one of your hosts, Adazil, and this evening I am joined by some fellow trophy hunters. We have the Vectronic,
Hello.
we have Void,
Hey guys.
and in our rotating chair this week we have Carlos.
Hello.
No worries, no worries. And Carlos, just for the listeners, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Uh, well, I'm sure most people know me, whether or not they don't like me, or they do. Either way, I like everybody. But I'm Carlo Haas. I I'm a trophy hunter and YouTuber for too many years,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean that's about the gist of it.
Okay, well, if you're all about the trophies, then you're in the right place. You're in the right podcast. Okay, so just swiftly moving on, then let's talk about what we've been playing this week. Let's start off with Void. What have you been playing this week, Void?
I've tried a new game that got released a month ago. It's called Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles, and I saw a couple of people posting screenshots of the game, and the game was on sale last week, and it was an amazing game. I really, really love it. It was a pretty easy platinum. It's The game is all about crafting, farming, and gestion. There is no element of RPG or fighting, so it makes the platinum pretty easy. The hardest trophy are collecting 55 cats and catching all the fish types, so it's pretty easy.
So
And
what's the actual gameplay like then?
yeah, the gameplay, it's basically you running around, helping people, finding resource, trying to make money to exchange some stuff to with merchant, and you're
So
trying
what's
to.
what's the style like? Is it 3D, 2D, side scroller?
Yeah, it's pretty. It's reminded me a lot Portal Knight too, in a way that it's made in 3D, and it's pretty beautiful. The landscape all around is pretty good, and I got really satisfied of the game. It took me like 20 hours to get the platinum, and just pretty easy and pretty good game.
Okay, is that all you've been playing this week, or have you got any more?
There is more, but all the rest is more smaller games. I've been playing Duke Nukem 3D, Siegecraft Commander. I played Orc Slayer. That was horrible. It's the worst game, worst
Yeah,
platinum ever.
I've played that also. It's
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
uh, yeah, extremely bad.
Yeah, the last boss glitched on me. It took me about an hour to beat it. I was just running
Oh
around and around. It was terrible.
yeah,
And speaking of Duke Nukem, I just bought that this evening. Actually, that'll be one of the next games I play within the next week or
yeah.
so.
That's cool. It's just nice to be playing a game like that to just enable all the cheat and you just run everywhere, kill everything, and having fun.
Cool, cool. You've had quite a good couple of weeks in regards to acquiring platinums, haven't you? I've seen on the Discord
Yeah,
as well.
we had an awesome sale. The flash sale in North America last week was really nice. It gave me a lot of those games that I don't want to pay full price for, so I got some pretty
And in
nice.
case any of our listeners who aren't part of our Discord, every month we have a monthly leaderboard, and every day or whenever you acquire a platinum, you post a screenshot in the thread. And recently, all I've just been seeing is just void, 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 just all of these platinums. He's really raking them up. You're nearing 100 now, aren't you?
Yeah, I missed three of them. 97 right now, so it's coming. It's coming fast.
Okay. All right, cool. We're moving on. We'll talk to Carlos now. What have you been playing recently?
Recently,
Yeah,
like, uh, how recent?
as in the last game you've literally played.
Oh, well, the last game I played was I think like a couple days ago. I was playing City Skylines because like on the PS4,
Uh huh.
because I've decided to go for that platinum. I'm gonna be number 2 platinum achiever, I think.
Oh, cool.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I haven't really been playing a whole lot this past week or two. I've been kind of slacking, but uh, I mean that's been like the main uh, like
As
game I've
long
been playing.
as long as you get gaming in, doesn't matter. Even if it's just an hour a day or 6 hours a day, whatever. As long as you are gaming, that's all that's important. Working towards those trophies. So you think you'll have the trophy soon? I mean, I don't know too much about City Skylines, so or would you care to
It's
explain it for people like myself who don't really know too much?
I mean, it's quite a platinum. I mean, it's an outstanding game. Like I bought it when it came out on PC,
So
and
what type of game is it? Because I have literally no idea what. I've only heard it named.
it's basically like SimCity. I mean, it's exactly
Oh,
like that, but it's
okay,
like
fair enough.
really good. Uh, and it came out on PS4 recently, and I was able to get it. And the platinum, I mean, the platinum is achievable, but there's like the one trophy to unlock all the buildings is quite specific and takes a little bit of doing. And then there's like other trophies like experience 1001 nights in the game, which is literally going to take around 170 hours of AFKing.
Oof.
But thankfully I could just AFK it. But it's a great game, but not a platinum I would recommend going for unless you want to spend a lot of time.
For anyone listening out there who's not too familiar with the term AFK, away from keyboard, basically just leaving the game idling and you go away from your console just to let the hours tick by to contribute towards obviously a time-based trophy, which we've all of us have probably done here. I know I've done it loads of times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or rubber band your controller and those kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's
precisely.
always useful.
Okay, all right then. We're moving on then. Let's Vec, what have you been up to recently in the world of gaming?
I've been playing three games exactly. I found a PS1 game called Toy Story 2. I've been playing that.
We don't discuss trophyless
Oh,
games here,
that's
so
true.
you
That's true.
take that nonsense outside.
Oh.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
But besides that, I've been playing a lot of Shovel Knight recently,
Uh-huh.
and I've been playing a lot of Nier Automata, which
Ah.
I know you, Daz, you've been playing that too.
Hashtag
Um,
relatable.
mm, for now, Shovel Knight, I'm just starting up the game after I patched it in for the PlayStation 3 because it's been almost a year after I played it for the first time on the Wii U console. So I decided, well, I have it on the PlayStation. I might as well just play it again. So I'm currently at um playing it once more on the PlayStation 3, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm actually thinking of beating all three campaigns at once. Um, both the Shovel Knight, Plague Knight, and Spectre of Torment. And after that, I'm actually thinking of actually maybe getting the platinum, but maybe one thing at a time. Besides that, Nier Automata, which is I know you, Daz, you want to talk a lot about that later, but
Oh,
I
go on.
actually am amazed by this game, and I'm currently at uh not I'm not already beginning, but I'm at halfway through the game, so I'm actually pretty impressed by it. Platinum
Okay,
Games does make incredible games.
fair enough then. All right, well, I guess I'm last then. Well, might as well make that a segue. I too have been playing Nier Automata, however you want to pronounce it, and I got some stick for it last time I said it. But yeah, I've been playing that a lot recently. I finished it this afternoon. I platinumed it today, this afternoon. Um, Personally, I found it a little bit. I don't know. I don't want to really rain on the parade of Automata because I know a lot of people like it, but it's just really not for me. I stuck it through to the end. I got the platinum for it. Um, I don't know. I'm not a real big fan of the sort of Japanese hack and slash, particularly platinum games. That the only previous platinum games I've played has been Vanquish and Metal Gear Rising. Vanquish just because it was PlayStation Plus back on PS3, and Metal Gear Rising because I'm a really big Metal Gear Solid fan, so I couldn't let it pass. And that kind of really high-paced, high-octane hack and slash style was just not really for me. If I'm honest, I was playing Nier on the easiest mode. Sorry, no, on normal mode to begin with, because I found the easy mode a little bit too easy. But then I found the gameplay a little bit repetitive, so then I knocked it down to easy mode and put the auto chips on because I really wasn't sort of having fun with the combat. Um, I don't know. I just found it quite repetitive, and then after the game has what they call different endings, but it's all part of one grand plot. And after a few of the endings, air quotations endings, I don't know. I was just a little bit bored by the game and just kind of wanted it over and done with. And not, I don't know. The story
So
didn't really grab me.
you just finish. You bought all the trophy.
Yeah, I did. I
It's crazy.
the game gives you more than enough resources to sell to buy trophies. It's almost like it's encouraged to do so.
Oh,
Um,
I haven't played a game by myself yet, but I heard that you can even cloud save the game. You can like just buy all the trophy with the cloud save. You reload, and you can buy the one that you didn't buy yet. So
oh no,
really, really
you
easy.
don't
But
even have to do that.
oh, so that's
You get
crazy.
3 save slots. I just
Oh
saved
yeah.
save slots and
Oh
did that.
okay. Wow.
But I remember I was only short of about maybe 100,000 credits for like one of the last trophies I needed. So you don't really need to reload twice. But I'm not sure if the trophy shop wasn't there. I'm not sure I really would have pushed on further to get the platinum because I felt done with that game by the time I hit the sort of true ending credits. But a lot of people enjoy it, and more power to them. But it just wasn't for me. I gave it a try, I gave it a shot, and we can't like every game. But yeah, it's fine. It's not a bad game. It's just not to my tastes. Um, and that's basically what I've been playing really since the last time we spoke in the last episode. I've just been spending all week playing this because it's quite a lengthy game. I think it was I did quite a lot of side missions, so it was like 25 hours for me overall. But it would have been many, many more hours if I did the trophies legit. But mate, I'm just looking at Mako's comments here. How dare you not enjoy every game you play? Anyway, okay, we're moving on to our next section. And if we're all covered what we're been playing this week, we can move on to the news section. So we can move over to our resident news reporter, Vec. What stories have you got for us to discuss this week?
Well, not much have passed recently, but for now, we got multiple news sources right now thanks to PAX. Um, First of all, we got an announcement that the pre-order bonuses for Sonic Forces have been revealed, and I gotta say, um, the game, a controller skin, and 5 DLC pieces, outfits, and none of them have gloves, and except for the Jet Set Radio one.
So all the DLC for the game, or sorry, the pre-order bonuses, if you want to call them. I haven't looked too deeply into this because I'm not a Sonic fan, so I haven't really been following the news of any Sonic releases as of late. So are they all skins or are they bonus levels? What is it? So it's just skins.
It just skins for the custom character that you can create in the game.
Uh huh.
There's first the Jet Set Radio one, which is the Beat outfit. Includes headphones, the glasses, and the overall attire. For the character Beat from the original Jet Set Radio on the Dreamcast. It includes Joker from the Persona 5 series, which is the main protagonist. Um, then you have I, which is the Super Monkey Ball one. Then you have a Puyo Puyo hat. And last but not least, Knights from the Knights series, which is an old Sega property.
Yeah, I
And
recall that.
yeah, and all of those are gonna be skins for the new game Sonic Forces
So
coming
it's
soon, I think it's
so it's skins, and did you say a control? Did you say controller skin?
no, it's just skins for the custom
Oh, sorry,
characters.
I've misunderstood that. Okay, yeah. So skins for characters. Is it that just it for the pre-order bonuses?
Yeah, that and the skin for the controller. That's it.
Oh, okay. Do you think that seems worth it?
No.
Not exactly for
All
pre-order,
these
but I actually
skins.
like the Jet Set Radio one.
Yeah, they seem like the kind of thing that will be like mere pennies on PSN about 6 months down the line.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
might see it like happened with Persona that some of the DLC were early for early back pre-orders, and then after that went all the way. You can see other Personas coming to the PlayStation Network after for like $1. more.
Yeah, but at the same time, the bonus edition is not too expensive. I mean, it's $40, so it's cheaper than certain game.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think it's still not worth it. Yeah, I mean, it's just skin.
Okay, well, what's next on the news thing? But first of all, let's just do a shout out to DK because he's at PAX this week. I understand he's doing some live stream for the developer he works for. So if you're listening to this, DK, enjoy your trip out to PAX.
Well, speaking of packs, I'm not sure whether or not you guys heard, but the new Shovel Knight trailer came out. The new King of Cards. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with that.
Can't say I am.
N-
So,
not yet. I really want to play Shovel Knights. They have like two games and one game and one DLC that is a platinum, and I really want to try them. Not yet.
what about you, Carlos?
What? Yeah. I seen that they announced the DLC. It looks interesting. I mean, I didn't look too much into it, cause it's just more Shovel Knight DLC. I'm sure it'll be pretty good.
So
Yeah,
so you say they've announced the next Shovel Knight, but also DLC for the current game. Did you say?
yeah, it's the new campaign. It's called King of Cards, which is like, of course, it's Shovel of Hope. The next one was the Plague Knight one, which is the Plague of Shadows. Then the Spectre Knight one, which came out recently, which is Spectre of Torment. And now we got an early release date on early 2018, coming fairly soon, alongside a new trailer, which showed a lot of new gameplay pictures. I've retweeted some of the gameplay on my Twitter. And for now, it's just three main worlds. You fight a boss at the end of each one, and it's a long campaign for what people are actually showing at the moment. Though it doesn't want to feel as big because it's more like a prequel. Like it shows King Knight um, going and ascending the throne at the moment. And besides that, I'm just excited to see what shenanigans these guys come up with because I've been enjoying all of the campaigns and humor within those games.
Sure, I can imagine from your point of view, you're a fan of the series. Um,
Yeah,
Obviously, I can't share the same enthusiasm because I haven't played it. Not really my type of games, those sort of old style uh, platformers. But yeah, a lot of people love Shovel Knight. So what's
Mhm.
next?
So just about an hour before we started, Dead Rising 4 is getting a new. I think it's a Game of the Year edition or maybe like a DLC bundle, which is the base game for Dead Rising 4. It's called Frank's Big Package. Um,
Ah, man.
Yeah, it includes all the deals. I think it's all the DLC that's coming out, and it's coming out in December. And I actually never played the Rising game before because I can't give my opinion on it. I'm not sure about you guys.
No, I haven't. But just on the note of like these Game of the Year editions, it's becoming more and more. Well, me personally, I'm becoming more and more reluctant to buy AAA games uh, around. I don't buy them at launch anyway because I've always got loads of stuff to play, and I generally just wait until I feel like playing it rather than buying it at launch. But um, when it comes to buying AAA games, I'm becoming more reluctant to buy them within the couple of months of their launch window because inevitably they all have a Game of the Year edition, which includes all the DLC and is generally cheaper than their original price anyway. And this has been a trend for like years now. So I don't really understand how this helps sales of games at their launch because 6 months, down the line or a year later, there's an ultimate edition with everything in. You know, you
Yeah,
you got publishers
Yeah.
try to entice people to pre-order with these pre-order bonuses that we spoke of just a few minutes ago, for example. And
I think it will probably get worse too. With like when you have some big release like No Man's Sky, for example, people expect a lot, and like those kind of game when you buy them on release, like there's so many games that need couple of patch before they reach their full potential. Like it's so much worth it to wait these
I
days. I
almost
feel, and
feel
with
like
games like
that particular part of AAA industry is kind of cannibalizing itself in a way. Because if you think about it, right, publishers give us all this pre-order incentive, this pre-order culture to lay down our money early to get the sales on launch day, because it's a fact that games make the most money at launch. You know, the full price, and they're most relevant. They're people are most excited about it, so they want people to lay down their money early to get sales. But people are becoming more and more reluctant because of these big Game of the Year editions. So my point here is people are publishers want to entice customers in with pre-order bonuses. People are not pre-ordering because they know an edition is coming at the end. So people wait, they buy the edition, and then next publisher comes along, even less people are going to buy at launch. Then there are more pre-order bonuses. So do you sort of see what I'm saying? It's kind of like a vicious circle.
With Game of the Year editions, so Deadrising 4 was a launch title exclusively for Xbox and PC.
Okay.
So now it's coming out for PS4, and they can bundle as a Game of the Year, gets more people to be interested in it, other than, oh, it's Deadrising 4, well, I also get all the DLC and all that stuff. But also at the same time, you have publishers making separate trophy lists for Game of the Year editions like Mordor, Witcher 3, and that makes more people go out and buy the game, trophy reasons and stuff. Trophies sell games, even if it's a small amount, it still sells some. Uh,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
you definitely have a bit of a different sort of way the publishers look at the industry now since the PS4 came out.
Mm.
But it is nice to have an option nowadays where like you don't have to buy a game day one, deal with the season pass, deal with the DLC. You can wait, get it all for like the same price, $60 for like example Fallout 4, and you didn't really have that too much uh, back on the PS3 until later on.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely. The industry is definitely changing, but um,
yeah,
just the way with like we always know that there's some big addition always. It's kind of like we just expect it now from every big AAA game. I think the only game that doesn't really release a big completed edition is I think like Call of Duty, and maybe
Call of
that.
Duty, I don't really see Ubisoft doing it much.
No, not really. Anyway, we've dwelled on this topic for long enough. Vec, what's the next item of news?
I I think that's enough, but I let me see if I can find something else. But besides, you know, Dead Rising, the Shovel Knight trailer, I don't think there's not much to talk
Okay.
about this
All right.
week.
We can call it. We can call it end there for the news section, and we can just move on to the next. We've spent long enough discussing anyway. We've got some good conversation out of it. So let's move on to the new releases trophies for this week. Now, usually at this point, we'll go through PSN profiles and we look at the homepage and we look at all the new trophy lists that have been added to PSN as of late, and we take a few and look at them. But this week, there's one particular game that we want to explore because it's quite a big game. It's Destiny 2. And news broke this week that Destiny 2, its trophy list only comprises of 14 trophies, including the Platinum. And now for a big AAA game, that's actually quite surprising. Now, anyone else want to wade into this?
Uh, yeah,
Not much for me.
I mean, I can. It's Destiny 2. I mean, a lot of people are making a big deal over 14 trophies, and I mean, that is pretty surprising to see that little of a trophy list. But
Yeah.
I think I was talking about it on stream the other day. I think that by when all said and done, I think Destiny 2 will have a trophy list of like well over 50 trophies due
Oh
to
yes, absolutely. All the DLC packs that are
yeah,
inevitably going to release, but just as a base trophies, I mean, I can understand from that point of view that, of course, they're going to add packs and all sorts, and it's just going to keep adding DLC trophies to it. But for a core list, which I've got here in front of me, it's not very imaginative. It's pretty basic. It's like, let me just read a couple out here. Of course, there's not going to be anything spoilers in this particular game's trophy list. So like, acquire each Titan subclass, acquire each Hunter subclass, acquire each Warlock subclass. So, given stuff, that's obvious. Complete a flashpoint, complete a heroic public event, complete a Nightfall strike, and so on and so forth. So basic sort of event and character class based trophies, really simple stuff. So looking at it from a core point of view, okay, I get it. Fine, it's a basic list, but it just took me by surprise that it has such a small amount. Also, just on another note, it's mostly gold, except for one silver. No, sorry, two silvers, and of course the platinum. So
Hmm.
the only thing I can compare this to in regards to the structure of the trophy list being mostly golds is like one of those like crappy movie tie-in games that they used to do last gen, like a Terminator Salvation comes to mind, which is like all golds and one platinum. And now when I
One of
say
my favorite games.
are you for real?
Yeah.
Jeez, that game is horrendous. But whatever. Yeah. Anyway, when I mean crappy, I'm not like taking a pop at Destiny. I just mean crappy as in there's not much sort of like imagination in the list. But this is a different type of game to
But
Terminator
the
Salvation.
the funny thing is, though, I mean, I've played like Destiny 1 for like over 300 hours.
Uh huh.
Uh, looking at the Destiny 2 trophy list, like I pretty much know what all that stuff means. And it's funny enough, pretty much the exact same trophy list from Destiny 1. It's just doesn't have a lot of the extra trophies that the first game had related to like killing enemies and
Finding
things.
the ghosts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's essentially the same trophy list, but it just doesn't have a lot of filler. So
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I agree. I mean, if you look at the trophies, these are obviously things that are going to take a long time to do. Like you have to play each different class and then get every different subclass. So that's I don't know
That's
what that.
about 25 hours per character, most likely.
Yeah. So as far as things to do, it's there. But I prefer. Well, I don't know. Personally, I prefer trophy lists that have like loads of sort of little things to do that make up it rather than you know a smaller list with bigger things to do because it kind of has a bit of variety to it. It's kind of like I treat trophy lists as a checklist for things to do in the game, but you know, I don't know. I can take it and leave it. I personally am not interested in Destiny 2, so kind of a moot point from me, really. But that's just my opinion as an outside observer on this trophy list.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fine.
yeah. Has anyone else got anything to add to this? Vec, Boyd?
No, I'm not interested in Destiny 2. I haven't played Destiny 1 either, so.
Vec?
But it's still interesting that the total amount of point that you get from those 14 trophies are still bigger than Destiny 1 base games.
All them golds,
If,
eh?
yeah, because they're all gold, they give you a little bonus.
Vec,
There's
did
some
you play
positive there.
Destiny 1?
Well, for me, I think I'm looking at the trophy list right now, and it's basic, it's bare bones, but I'm not sure because I have never played a Destiny game before.
Okay.
But looking at this, I'm seeing there's one trophy in particular that raises my suspicion, which is called the Prestige. That's completing a Leviathan raid or Nightfall Strike and Prestige difficulty, which might think be the hardest difficulty.
I would imagine so.
But looking at it, it feels like they decided to compact every single trophy that the first game had and just make it simpler and easy to track down. For example, I'm not sure if any of you guys played, but in DC Universe Online, there's a trophy list that's, if you look at it at a base standpoint, it's like, oh, it's pretty simple, but inside that trophy list, you can see like there's like another layer of difficulty and challenges present throughout the whole game, and you think it's simple, but it's not. And I think this is what Destiny 2 is trying to show. Like
Well,
Carlos said, it's like they take out the filler and put it with the other trophies, and then actually make it like that.
well, the thing is with Destiny, and I think I'm not going to make too much of a big deal about this Destiny 2 trophy list because if this was just the game, a big AAA game like I don't know, an Arkham game or let me think, like Mafia or Assassin's Creed or Far Cry, and this was just a trophy list, then yeah, I think I'd probably be a little bit more bothered. But the fact that Destiny is sort of a game. It is one of those sort of games as a service sort of trends that we're seeing more and more of now, where you've got the core game and then it's just supported with tons of maps, DLC, expansions, and so on and so forth as it goes on. I think it's probably acceptable in this case that it has a small core trophy list because, of course, they're going to add tons of content to it and therefore more trophies. So, yeah, I'm going to let it slide on this one anyway. I'm not really too bothered. It was just surprising to see it have such a small trophy list for the sequel.
Good. So I had another trophy list to put it there. There's a new game from Artifact Mundi, Grim Legend 2 Song of the Dark Swan that got released. So it's a pretty easy platinum if you're into those type of point and click adventure, and all the Artifact Mundi games are pretty similar, I think, in trophy lists. And yeah, that's another one. They're
Usually
publishing
point and
so
click
many of those.
games have pretty straightforward trophies anyway, and if someone has written a guide for it,
Yeah,
it's very straightforward. A lot of
when
them
you
are
get the
simple
guide, it's
trophies.
super fast.
Yeah, precisely. I've got a few point and click.
Yeah, you see, there is only 56 people that have the platinum for now, and people did it in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's it for new releases, then I think we should move on to one of our more interesting segments, and that's our tricky trophies. Now, Tricky Trophies is a segment where we look back through all of our trophy lists for over the years, and we look at some of the most challenging and most rage-inducing gameplay, or just really boring and grindy trophies we've had to endure just for one single trophy. So, I tell you what, let's start off with Carlos. What is your Tricky Trophy for this episode?
Well, my tricky trophy is one that I actually earned not too long ago, back in June,
Okay.
and that was the Catfight Trophy for Injustice 2.
And what does that entail? What's the requirements for that trophy?
The requirements of the trophy is Catwoman must defeat Cheetah with the final hit coming from Catcall, which is an ability in the game. Now, it's not a trophy that sounds difficult, but what's funny about it is that to get the Catcall ability for Catwoman, you have to open up the mother boxes, which are like loot boxes.
Uh-huh.
And to put it into a bit of perspective, there are 120 something abilities you can get through these boxes, not counting DLC characters, and it's completely random. It's
So how
completely
many
RNG.
loot boxes did you have to open to get this ability then?
Well, the way I did it, and I don't think you can do it this way anymore, but I didn't have to open any boxes to do it. I was able to do this method, which there was a multiverse event, which is like a timed online event, and this event awarded you with a random ability every time you beat it. And there was a exploit where you could back up your save and then just keep replaying it over and over and over and over again.
Ah, clever.
And still doing that, it took me 12 hours to get
Wow.
to get the ability. And the funny thing is that the Catcall ability, the one I needed, was the last one I got in the game. So the RNG gods were really after me that day. But
Jeez.
that
You got it though.
I
You did it.
think, yeah, I think Catfight is probably the worst RNG based trophy I've had to go for.
Maybe there's a glitch and people don't know. Maybe the dev doesn't know, because it seems really to be the problem for a lot of people to get their platinum is only the Catcall ability. And I mean, is there other trophy related to abilities that you have to unlock like that?
There's no other trophy tied to like abilities that you get through the boxes and stuff.
Oh, okay, I see. Wow.
And then I imagine that the loot boxes don't require any in-game purchases. It's just the in-game currency, right?
Yeah, you cannot buy anything like that with real money.
It's a lot
Tons
of
of
grinding then.
grinding.
A lot of random loot boxing and just sheer luck.
Yeah, I was reading through the threads while going for this trophy, and there was people talking about how they opened over 20,000 boxes.
Oh man,
And
that's not great. That's not
yeah,
that's awful. This whole loot box thing and microtransactions is, especially when it's tied to like getting trophies in the game like this, that's just not fun. Games are supposed to be fun, not a chore like this.
yeah, and I've really enjoyed the game, especially going for the platinum up until this trophy, and it was just like this is just pointless.
Well, you got it though. You succeeded. You
Yeah.
were determined and you got it. Okay, then moving on. Let's go with Vec. What's your key trophy for this week?
Ooh, mine's a big of a flashback from our PS3 game,
Blast from the
PS3
past.
days. So I don't know if any of you guys heard of a game called Batman Arkham Asylum.
Never heard
Mm.
of it.
No, me neither. It's a it's a really indie game. I don't know if you guys. I think it's a really old game. I think it came out like in year. I don't know, but the game itself is pretty amazing, and I actually love Batman as a character. But one of the things I failed to do when I first originally played it back in 2012 was actually getting the platinum. So one of the things that prevented me that was the combat challenges in Batman Arkham Asylum.
Ah,
And
we
one
we
of
are
them,
we are in unison there. We are a kindred spirits because you're basically telling the story of my experience with that game. I don't have the platinum, and your reason is exactly the same as mine. Those combat challenges. So please continue.
so of course you have to complete some combat and predator challenges. Um, you feel like you're scaling up a bit because it's like, oh, just complete like 16 of those and get like a medal or something, and then you realize that you have to be perfect in every single one of them. And then after a while, you're just like spamming, trying to view videos, have like a second monitor on, just looking at everything, how he did it. And you're just like frustrating, trying to throw your controller at the wall. But those are not the things actually that frustrated me, is actually not the 100%, but the trophy that comes along with it. It's called Free Flow Perfection. Now, Batman has a unique arsenal of abilities that you have to combo it all out and in order to maintain yourself great in the grand scheme of things. But free flow protect at the perfection allows you to perform a perfect combo using every single of Batman's moves in any game mode.
That's
Now,
also his gadgets as well, isn't it? So his combat, his gadgets, basically everything that's within his arsenal in one fluid fight, right?
correct. And you have to make a strike, a counter, a stun. You have to evade. You have to take down. You have to batarang, backclaw, power throw, and special takedown. Now you look at it, and it's not that hard. The problem is sometimes you run into a group of enemies, and sometimes you don't have the enough appropriate abilities or have the upgrades to actually perform that in a single combo. For example, um, the power throw and the special takedown are special abilities that you collect in the game, and you can lower the combo that's required to perform the takedown, which is like a orange indicator that happens after maybe like from 8 to 5 hits. And then you're like, okay, so I have to throw a person, take down that person, and then immediately strike, counter, stun, and everything. But you always have to start with the back claw because the back claw itself, it's kind of difficult to put it into a combo except when you're starting a combo. And finding the group of enemies in the story is actually pretty difficult. But thanks to the combat challenges, you can easily find the first one to be the best. But for the life of me, combos for me, it's just incredibly dull and frustrating. Like,
Looking at the trophy list here, I'm looking at my own trophy list, but just looking at rarity percentages. That game, for a really old game, like I played it back in 2009. I can't remember the launch year off the top of my head, but 9.99 for the platinum trophy for this game, which is making it's very rare considering how old the game is. And the rarest trophies are, in fact, free flow perfection, the free flow bronze, silver, and gold for the challenge rooms, and then perfect night, 100% complete. They're like the rarest trophies in the list. Everything else is between the teens up into the 50, 60%, 70%. I myself did everything except for the trophies that I've just stated because it's hard. It's really hard. So it was a platinum that slipped out of my grip because I was just not good enough to do it. But I've gotten over that a long time ago. To be honest, the game's
Yeah,
great, but the combat's really hard to get
yeah,
perfect.
but thanks to actually Batman Arkham City and Arkham Origins and Arkham Knight, all of those games have a harder version of that. So when you first begin playing Batman Arkham Asylum, you feel like it's impossible. But once you play and try to attempt any of the City, Origins, or Night challenges, combat challenges, yeah, I think this is easier now to do than what we have now. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I played Arkham City, and about a third of the way through it, I just sort of had enough. So I just ran through the game, through the story as quickly as I could, and I was finished with it. I didn't play Origins, and I didn't play Arkham City either. Sorry, Arkham Knight either. So the second game kind of just put me off. Really, it is tricky. It was them silly AR challenges that really pissed me off. So I just sort of was like, nope, I'm just gonna do the story, and then I'm done. So I didn't platinum Arkham City either. I just had enough of it really, and that just put me off the Batman games going forward. Really. Okay, well then, moving on. So, Void, what's your tricky trophy for this week?
Yeah, it's a trophy from The Witness. So this puzzle game is really, really interesting, but and I have a really nice trophy list that beside one, it's a little bit like all your trophies. There's only one trophy that is bugging people, and it's super hard. And I think a lot of people got trapped there because you have to complete a challenge level that is totally optional outside the main story. But this challenge is time. So I don't remember exactly the time, but I think you have 3 minutes to complete 5 or 6 puzzles that are all randomized. So it's impossible
Um,
to have a guide for it. And it's a mess because all the rest of the game is you can do all the game with a guide because all the puzzles are the same beside this challenge trophy. And it was so hard, and the song they put the same classic song playing there all the time that go faster and faster and faster until there's no time left. And it's really, really tough. It's really, you have to get lucky, but you have to pass a couple of hours there. And it's probably what made the platinum trophy a rare platinum. And probably people have picked up the game, they go through the game, they enjoy looking at a guide, doing all the puzzles with the guide, and they arrive there and they just realize, oh, they fucked up. And
yeah,
that's
that's
pretty hard for
often
me.
the downfall of a lot of guides, a lot of trophy hunters. You'll find a decent guide, and then you'll follow the guide to the letter, and then you find a section that's a randomly generated bit of gameplay, and then
Yeah.
you're just screwed basically. You either have to just lump it, give up, or just hope that the randomizer gives you something pretty straightforward. But if you're playing with a guide, chances are that um, if it's like gameplay intensive or like The Witness, you have to learn the language of
Yeah,
the
you have
game
to
and the
learn the
puzzle.
mechanics a lot.
Yeah, so if you
And
don't learn it and it comes to a random bit,
yeah,
you're basically a complete novice at the game at that point because you haven't
yeah, it's
learned how to
totally
play it.
useless to go through. And I had played off the game on my own before being a trophy hunter, so I came back and I had just a couple of puzzles to do. So I had to really pass a couple of hours on the challenge and just do it again until your brain start understanding the patterns, just like, oh, that there they are, and just practice, practice. So it was horrible, and the music, the classical music, wanted just my head to explode.
Okay. Well, it comes down to me now, and this particular trophy, um, I don't really know how to put it in any other way, but it almost broke me, like emotionally, because I was just so angry at it that I didn't know what to do with myself. This is from the game Goat Simulator, and this is the Flap Master. Scored 10 points in Flappy Goat. Now, if anyone doesn't know of this, it is so
No,
Goat Simulator is
yeah.
that dumb, goofy physics simulator game where you play as a goat and cause all kinds of mayhem. Goat within Goat Simulator is a mini game called Flappy Goat, based on that popular mobile game Flappy Bird, where you have to tap the screen to make the bird go up and down and miss the obstacles. Basically the same thing. It's literally the same game, but just as a mini game, and it's broken. The mini game is absolutely broken. Like I must have spent like 6 hours playing this over the course of like 2 days, just this one mini game, and you only have to score 10 points, and that sounds easy, but it's not. It I was almost like reduced to tears because I was just so emotionally drained from being so angry at this broken game. Within the game itself, like the actual main game of Goat Simulator is fun. It's silly, it's goofy, it's just insane. But this mini game is awful, and I don't know. I tried different methods. People are like, stand closest to the screen, or I don't know, play it in this certain way, or whatnot. And I just can't really say anything more about it. Really, it's probably one of, if not, if I could think of like my top three worst trophies, that's definitely in there as one of them. And I think this is probably the worst trophy, followed by that obstacle course one in Titanfall 2. I would say I would actually put this forward as the worst trophy I've ever done. I think the Flatmaster.
That bad?
It's the worst. It has to be. I've not come across any other trophy that is not broken or glitched, but this is because the game itself is just terrible. So yeah, that's all I can say about that. I'm just so emotionally done at that point of playing it. I can't really go on about it anymore. The worst. Oh, it just makes me
I bought the game. I haven't played yet, but I'm not looking forward to it.
I
Playing
hear the
Flappy
PS3 version's
Goat.
even worse, apparently, because
Oh,
of
wow.
the like frame rate or something of it. I don't know. I don't have it in me to even try the PS3 version. Oh, awful.
I don't
A
want
dark
to do it.
time. A dark time in my life as a gamer. Okay, fine. Let's move away from this really dark time. Let's well, we can just discuss. We're getting to the end of our episode now. Actually, we can just talk a little bit about what's going on the Discord and just general stuff, really. Firstly, to start off with is again, thanks to everyone for the positive feedback, and also thanks to people who have donated to our Patreon. Now, as we mentioned in the previous episode, we set up a Patreon to financially support just the hosting costs of this show. Um, we're non-profit. It just goes towards the hosting of this show on the cloud storage. And thanks to everyone who's donated each month. Sorry, donated each. But you can also donate each month as well to carry on supporting the show for future episodes, future storage, and we really appreciate that. And all the support on the Discord as well as people who follow us on our Twitter at the Trophy Trust. We're trying to be a little bit more interactive with people on Twitter as well, asking questions and getting some topics. Actually, I'll tell you what, there is a section I have missed out, unfortunately, but that just reminded me. We actually asked on our Twitter this week at the Trophy Trust what a few of our followers' tricky trophies are. And I have a few here lined up just before we move too far away for tricky trophies. Okay, I have two here. One is from Alexander at Stardust Ancient. They say their tricky trophy is the one for reaching the highest level on Rayman Legends. It was the last trophy I needed for the plat. I had to do daily challenges for months. Now, I played Rayman Legends. I don't know about any of you guys, but there are daily challenges that you have to do, and they're like little mini games that generate each day. And yeah, I didn't do it.
Yeah, I've
I-
heard I've heard about it. Haven't played it yet. I think it'll be nice to play it. It seems to be challenging and a nice game on Vita, but like there's so many people that are there with like super high score. You don't know why they're still playing that game every month, but it seems to be a big challenge. But
Yeah, I did try, but I just think it thought it was a bit of a chore, so I gave up. Besides, that game was hard enough as it was anyway. There's some really difficult platforming sections in those games in both Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. I almost platinumed Origins actually, but I can't remember what it's called. It's like the Underworld or something. It's like the very final kind of world. It's like
It's
ridiculously hard.
I think it's the of the living dead.
The Land of the Living Dead. That's it. It is kind of an underworld anyway. It's like kind of hell or like a full of bones and dead characters. But yeah, there's some really tricky stuff in that, so I didn't bother. And I did try Legends, and I liked it, but again, some of the really hard platforming sections just kind of killed it for me. And our other tricky trophy from one of our followers is from Fletch R, who's also here on the Discord as well. On Twitter, he's at RF90890. His tricky trophy is Tactical Challenger from Vanquish. You need to boost roll just to avoid all the enemies. Had to stop many times due to insane difficulty. Has anyone else here played Vanquish? Another platinum game. Also mentioned it earlier.
nope,
No, I
never
haven't.
played it.
But no.
No, oh, I've played it. It was like I said, it was back on PS3 on PlayStation Plus. I really liked it. It was really good, really fun, really sort of smooth combat. It's like a third-person shooter, but you're in like an exoskeleton kind of armor, and you can dash around, and you have all kinds of crazy weapons. But I didn't get the platinum for that either because it's a hard game. Like especially that you get like challenge rooms and whatnot. I can't remember that trophy specifically, but I do know that that game is very challenging. Um, Okay, well, thanks to people who responded to our tweet, by the way, asking about tricky trophies. We'll ask this again next week, and we should have some more people, which we'll happily read out on the show under the tricky trophy section, if I remember to put it there next time. So apologies for it being slightly displaced. Um, okay, does anyone else want to discuss anything before we move on to outros?
No, I think
Anyone?
that's good. Next week we'll have the result of the month of August leaderboard.
Yeah,
We'll have that next
Woo!
week. See
Ooh.
who got the biggest
yeah,
amount of platinum.
yeah. The monthly trophy leaderboard, the platinum leaderboard on our Discord. That's well, that might be you, mightn't it, Void? Or at least you're definitely up there. The amount of
Yeah,
got this month, crazy.
I think it's for the first half of August. It was me, Trophy Whore, and W Dog that was there. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, we will see. Okay, well, if that pretty much wraps everything up for this episode of the Trophy Trust, well, I'd like to thank our guest this week, Carlos. Thank you for being on this episode. It's been really interesting to talk to.
Has it?
Hopefully you'll be on again.
Oh, okay.
Try not to sound too enthusiastic.
Well, sorry, I had a big dinner.
Okay. All right then. Cool. Well, you can find us all on the Discord server. You can also find us all individually on Twitter. Void, where can people find you on Twitter?
At PVT Void.
Vec,
You can find me at the Vectronic on Twitter.
Carlos, have you got a Twitter tag?
Well, my Twitter is at Carlo Haas YT.
Okay.
Don't follow it.
What? That's a false promotion.
Well, I mean, if you follow it, it might negatively impact you. So, yeah.
That's just going
eh,
to make people want to follow it now, I think.
That sounds like a challenge.
well, and then the YouTube is just Carlo has.
Okay, then we'll be sure to check out Carlos's channel. As for me, you can find me on Twitter at TheDazil, DAZEEL. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. The audience, live audience, thank you very much for being here and contributing to the chat. Thank you for listening. If you're listening this just on any other services, we're available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and this podcast will also be available on our YouTube channel. Please follow our Twitter, I've mentioned it before, at the Trophy Trust, and you'll get all updates about future episodes and where you can find them. So thank you very much for listening and keep hunting those trophies. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Have
Bye.
a good weekend.